Hi, I'm Baz Chino, you're watching Spriggan TV.
Good afternoon, I'm John Rivers and you're watching Spriggan TV.
Here we are at Dolman Grove's Tribal Dreams, and we're here to check out crow dance. It's a kind of a fusion between Celtic and Indian, native Indian dancing and ritual. But let's have a look at it and see what you think. Okay, so for many years I've been a fan of the Dolman, and I've often sort of browsed your merch table, and there's one CD that's slightly different from the rest, and it's called Crow Dance. It's your solo album, because it says so on the front. Can you tell us about that and what you're doing now? I've just witnessed a ritual, which is very native Indian in origin. I'd like to know more about it.
Well, Crow Dance, the album to begin with, is a combination of cultures between my mother and my father. My father's roots do go back, funny enough, to tribal American, and my mother's roots go back to Celtic, on the Welsh side. And both aspects of which I'm very proud of. And it's a totally different it's a different album in the fact that it's not going to be like the classic Dolman. It is meditative, it's tribal, and it's a dedication to those two cultures.
Sure.
Yeah.
So is this something that you've, because the album came out about 5 years ago, didn't it? So is this something that you've been doing in your own personal rituals, and it's sort of manifested and become something a bit more public? Or, I mean, how's that evolved from an album to now? That, I mean, as you'll see from the footage, quite a lot of people really getting involved in the ritual and really feeling what you're doing. How's that come around?
It's the aspect of what we're working on here with this. I say working on, it's not a working, it's an organic motion that's been sort of initiated. What we're looking at is over the years, but if I take it back and be brief with it, sort of during the 90s, in the temple workings that I was attached to and I worked with for many years, and many years of enjoyment there, it was very tribal.
Yes.
And I've always enjoyed the tribal aspects of our Celtic beliefs. And when you go back through the tribes of like Celtic, or if you go back through North American, or if you go back through Peruvian or like sort of Siberian, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to come back to a people that share a commonality. And the commonality, there's two very visible things which can be sort of seen with it, like in this drumming and dancing, and the way that we would use these tools to put ourselves into motion, to initiate an advancement in our connection with the spirit world.
Sure.
And I don't mean just like sort of dead grandparents or great grandfathers, etc. like this. I mean the spirit world on a whole, with the nature, the very nature and the very essence, the wind, water, fire, earth, those very things that we look at like within the great witch circles of today. is to actually really be part of that.
Sure. And what is it you're chanting during the crow dance? Everybody's chanting with you. What is the meaning of it? Where does it come from?
The chants are derived exactly the same way that chants are derived from all old cultures. Is that sort of when, say, you go and sit down by a tree or in a stone circle, you close your eyes or you're meditating, you may have a drum. I mean, we're talking on a tribal aspect.
Sure.
And these chants will actually come, they're called dream chants, and they will just come to you, you'll hear them. And they'll always have their own persona, and they'll have different meanings to you as an individual, but that makes them universal. So that means it doesn't matter who's chanting it, it'll have its own meaning to that individual.
Right.
And they're used to actually invoke and to encourage the communion between like this physical consciousness that we have and the spiritual realm.
So what there's one itu something hello. What does that mean?
Ite uta hanua.
That's right.
And this is a classic dream chant, and once again it's like sort of it will come to that point. We know what we're there for. The individual has already structured the idea of what they're there, what they want to get from this ritual, from this ceremony. And so that ite uta, so it goes ite uta hanua, and as this is actually vibrated, it will initiate, and then you can actually begin to engage.
So is that native Indian or
it's Celtic?
It's Celtic.
It's like sort of like the my cousins in America, like sort of they have a totally different way, like of actually bringing their thing. And what I do love is that like sort of our cultures are so similar in so many ways.
Yes.
Our respects for the elements, and between the pagan world and the Native American Indian world, there are great similarities, and especially at this day and age. And so what we have now, like, is a dual respect for nature, a desperate need to start enforcing mankind to take charge of their spirit. There's so many people that we've come across of recent years, like sort of within the pagan world, are so busy thinking about what someone else is doing, whether they're doing it right or wrong, and they're making such like sort of claims on it. They just need to let go of all the rules.
And this is a real natural fusion of your own culture, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really? And your own background.
Yeah.
I suppose the last question is, crow dance is what, 5 years old or whatever, and I suppose it will never age, but is there going to be a crow dance too?
There is, yeah, there is. And there's also the band that comes with it, which is a purely spiritual band. It's not the sort of band you'll ever see like sort of play in a small pub or something like that. It will only ever appear like in big ceremonies and probably on big stages, and that is to enforce the message of the crow dance. Crow dance initially began, before it became an album, it was already sort of a tribal way of communion that was used, as I said, back in the 90s. So that's kind of sort of been nurtured up to this point. Crow Dance 2 is now on its way, which will be performed by the Crow Dancers as a group of musicians. That's very, very exciting because that's very, very tribal. It's very, very spiritual. And once again, it's totally different to the normal dolmen music.
And I suppose on a personal level, it's something quite special having, from your parents, and putting something out there.
Absolutely. My dad's he's pushing to 81 now. And he grows his hair long, and because now, like sort of as he hits the twilight years of his life and everything, these things are very, very important to him to actually see all of this happening.
Brilliant.
And see this great like sort of fusion. And like I said, the message of crow dance is to forget all of the rules, to get rid of all the rules, is to worry about these kind of like sort of that person's not doing that or that one's doing things. Forget about that. Everybody be in charge of their own spirit and do their spirituality the way that they feel it, the way that they want to do it. As long as you're not a bad person, everything should work out okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that insight into the crow dance, and very much looking forward to crow dance too.
Thank you very much.
So, I've just seen you doing the crow dance with Taloch and it looked amazing. What do you guys get out of it? How does it feel?
We get a wonderful
ecstatic.
shamanic experience out of it.
A wonderful shamanic
Ecstatic,
experience.
it's dancing's bliss. You just dance into bliss, into your joy, until you're not thinking. It stops you thinking, and you're just dancing, and you're just being, and you're just
you totally go
expressing.
with the spirit, and it takes you, and then you just literally fly with it. It takes
Very
over your whole
spiritual,
body.
and you go off in your own little planet, little world. Fantastic.
And you joined with everyone there. It was so amazing, and the noise as well, the sound as well as the dance. It was just everyone was united in one, and it was just this ecstasy place that you could feel everyone was in it as well, and just looking at everyone's faces, and it was like,
pretty
and it was like, do you know what? It was like, I mean, I was expressing pain as well, like, you know, when you make the sound,
Yeah.
it's like your pain comes out as well, and your pain turns into your joy.
Wow.
And that's
One
really
of
powerful.
one of our members, her first time at camp, she was in tears of joy with the emotion. She was absolutely crying afterwards.
Amazing.
She just loved
Very
it.
spiritual.